Welcome to Odds.com's NBA coverage. We have our experts in the house, Trotwam and Dutch Boy Fresh. We are capping this huge Christmas Day card. It is the night of December 23rd. We are 20 minutes till midnight. There is a game, or actually, the Nuggets game just went into overtime. The Suns game is still on. So there are a couple games still in progress. We don't have player props yet, but we've had lines out for a while, and we are going to attack this card. First off, Trotwam, great to see your face, man. We've missed you. How you doing?
I'm feeling good, Jimmy. You know how I feel, man. It's all gravy. I'm feeling great. Here with you guys, it's always a blessing, man. Happy for the holidays, and let's get right to it, man. You know it's the NBA. We back.
Let's get right to it. We have Dutch Boy Fresh joining us, fresh off a 4-1 start to the season. I went 1-1, down 0.15 units. Dutchy goes 4-1, hits at 80% plus 2.84 units, 56.80% ROI. Plus 56.80 and average line minus 110. Hot start, Dutchy. And then you went 2-0 today on your own Twitter picks. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We hit the Russell Westbrook over on assist. We hit that in the first half. It was over 7.5. And then the Vujacic one, it did take a little bit longer, but it was the double-double minus 110. We got there as well. I believe he finished with 15 and 11. So it was a beautiful day.
Running hot, and you could have easily swept the board on our first show, couldn't you?
Yeah, when we had the Nets, I didn't have them first half on the show because of line purposes, but I did have them first half -4 and then full game -7. So I'm not going to complain about the outcome, but the blowout did take away minutes from our Joe Harris. Hit the rebounds prop pretty much right after the first quarter. He had 10.5, I believe, and then didn't get no run in the second half. So we missed that. It was 11.5, so we missed that by a bucket. But no sweat, though. More winners to come.
4-1 to start. You sound confident. I love it. I love it. I love it. We got Trotwam rolling with us. This is fun. This is the Christmas Day special. NBA does it so right. I thought that they were going to start their season on Christmas Day because they make these games so special. Let's get right into attack mode. Thank you all so much for joining us here. Odds.com. Trotwam, Dutch Boy Fresh rolling with us. Let's go. We start with the Pelicans at Miami Heat. Pelicans are sitting at plus 4.5. This total is at 227.5. Pelicans coming off what turned into a beatdown of my Raptors. They completely took over in the second half. Raptors were in control. Well, I shouldn't say in control, but Raptors were up, I believe, 4 after the first half. And Brandon Ingram was the best player on the floor.
Yeah.
He was absolutely spectacular. I'm going to pull up his numbers right now. For some reason,
he had 24, 9, and 11, one away from a triple-double.
He was so smooth. He's got length defensively. He was never out of control. I felt like I was watching him like he was moving a little slower than I remember, but he was completely in control.
Yeah.
And I thought he was spectacular. Also, having Steven Adams take some of the physical responsibility off of Zion, that's so important. You can't have Zion at his age to be the bully on the floor. You need somebody else. And Steven Adams does that. Steven Adams. They have pieces to be a quality playoff team. Redick is nice off the bench. So their lineup right now at point, Lonzo Ball, Kira Lewis Jr., shooting guard Eric Bledsoe, JJ Redick, at small forward, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, power forward, Zion Williamson, Nicolo Melli, center, Steven Adams, Jackson Hayes. Now we talk about the Heat coming off a 113-107 loss at Orlando. They started Hero at the point, Duncan Robinson at the 2, Butler at the 3, Mo Harkless at power forward, and Bam at the 5. Bam went for 25 and 11, but he had 7 turnovers. Butler had 19.7 assists and 7 steals, but he turned the ball over 6 times. Mo Harkless, 3 points, 2 rebounds in 23 minutes. Heat went 7.
How's he doing in the starting lineup?
Exactly. It was very confusing. Heat went 7 of 20 from 3. Dragic came off the bench and went for 20 points and 7 assists. He was a +7 in just 26 minutes. So quickly, their setup for the season is Goran Dragic and Kendrick Nunn at the point, we thought. And maybe that will come sooner or later. Kendrick Nunn played 8 minutes and did nothing. Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, Avery Bradley at the shooting guard. Small forward, Jimmy Butler, Andre Iguodala. Power forward, Myers Leonard, Mo Harkless. And at center, Bam and Kelly Olynyk. We'll start with you, Trotwam. This is your first game. And I will be tracking your action all year. Don't feel pressured to make a play on it each game, but do it exactly what makes you comfortable, exactly what you think you're going to make money on and succeed in the long run. Let's go. Pelicans 4.5-point dogs, total at 227.5. Trotwam, take it away.
So that breakdown right there, what you said, Mo Harkless, what is he doing in the lineup? That's one of the first things that alarmed me in this game for sure. I want to look and see how many minutes Lonzo played in this game. That's one thing that kind of want to monitor. He only played 29 minutes in this game, so I want to see him play more minutes before I want to go ahead and start backing Pelicans. That's the only reason why I'm not on them in this first game. Kind of scratching myself though, because a lot of people liked it. I seen a lot of people liking the Pelicans earlier today, so made me want to jump into it. But I want to see what Lonzo minutes were, and they were at 29. So at this point, I kind of don't want to take the Pelicans, but that's where I'm leaning. What is he doing in the lineup for Mo Harkless? I think they're trying to do too much on the defensive end, though. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to clamp down too much, and if in this game, if you're knocking down shots like Brandon Ingram was, like you guys were saying. When you get in, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Zion was 7 for 9 for the field. So you got Zion out there cooking and Brandon Ingram out there cooking 10 for 19. It's going to be a bad look for you. So I like what they were doing. It's just, is Lonzo going to get more burn? That's what I want to see. Is he going to get more burn under Stan Van Gundy? I want to see that a little bit long term. But right now, I'm leaning towards the Pelicans, and definitely be on the lookout. This is one of those games that come down the wire. It's just one of those things like I might pull it and it becomes official for sure. So definitely watch out and pay attention. But I'm definitely leaning on the Pelicans. So
Lonzo had a strange game. 5 turnovers, 1 assist. Brandon Ingram was the playmaker. It was very different than I expected. Wham, do you have any feel on this total? Any lean either way at 227.5? I know totals are very tricky here early in the season.
Yeah, that's one of the things I haven't did yet either. I haven't hit a total yet, but I actually was pretty cool on the totals yesterday. I called both of them as far as where I was leaning towards. So I'm kind of leaning towards this under. It's at 226 at my book. I think you said it's at 227, like market wide. So that may be something that you lean towards the under. The market may be moving them in my direction the way I'm leaning there. I don't know. The under makes sense here because they're trying to go defense if they start Mo Harkless. If he starts in this next game, I don't think that's the truth, right? Like, is this a preseason game? Because some of these, the Lakers started off being in preseason mode still. So some of these games, some of these teams probably in preseason mode.
The teams that were very successful last year feels like that. Although the Celtics, I guess the Heat and the Lakers, the teams that made the finals were sloppy. Very sloppy out there. Let's go to Dutch Boy Fresh. Now, we don't have props out, and that's something that Dutch hits at such a high percentage. So what we're going to do is if there are certain players that Dutch wants to attack, he's going to bring them up here on the show. I'm going to take note of it. As soon as the prop market comes out, these will be able to be official plays for his record. I will then tweet them out. That's how we're going to do it. Dutch, my man, take it away. Pelicans Heat.
Okay, so I stayed away from the Pelicans game today. I wanted more to see about the Raptors. Now, every year I'm high on low on teams, and I miss on. There's always that team that you're completely wrong on. I could be wrong on the Pelicans because when I look at the team, they have a lot of talent, but I look like they don't have any spacing. But they look great today. But I think Bledsoe and Ball both have 4 threes. Ingram hit a lot of threes. I mean, if they're going to shoot the ball like that, they're going to have no problems. But overall, I do think they're going to have trouble in the long run spacing. They did look great today. Now, I'm going to be looking at what I'm looking at, honestly, is the under. And that's what Wham was saying. He's leaning towards the under. The under's 8-2 in the last 10. For the Pelicans, it's 4-1 in the last 5 in Miami. So when I look at the game, obviously today they had Miami had 107 points against Orlando. Like you mentioned, with the starting lineup, I'm not really seeing a smoothness out of them. Jimmy didn't look too aggressive. I mean, looked real aggressive on the defense and 7 steals, I believe. Shooting offensively, I didn't really see it there. And I think the Pelicans, they're athletic. They're definitely going to be able to attack the guards, but I do think it's going to be kind of more of a gritty game. So 227, I believe I had 227.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I definitely, you know, like we mentioned already, I don't really bet too many on the over-unders early, but I do see a lot of value in this one right here, under 227.5. So go ahead and lock me in on that. I did lean I did lean against the Heat. I had the Heat today -4. You know, everything's not beautiful. I had two sides today. I had the Wizards 7.5. They, you know, that was obviously the right side. It was a sweat at the end though. And then I had the Heat -4, which obviously was a complete wrong side. So I didn't get those out. Those were just two personal plays. So I'm not too high on the Heat, obviously, because it cost me money today. But watching them against the Magic, I'm not that high on the Magic at all. And they outplayed them all game. You know, what I like is the Pelicans are 0-4 ATS in the last 4 road games. So I do believe that Miami coming off a loss, this is a Miami spot, but I'm not prepared to load up again on them and lose back-to-back. I got to see it before I believe it, but I definitely like the under 227.5. And when it comes to props, I would look at Ingram. Ingram's real nice. Yeah, you know, like we mentioned, he had 24, 9, and 11. I don't believe they have anybody to guard him. I think Butler's too small. Also, what I was looking at against the Raptors is they had 30 assists, so they're sharing the ball. But they did have 24 turnovers to go with the 30 assists. That's the Pelicans. So, you know, you take that for what it was. I do think they have a lot of talent. But at the end of the day, I think they need JJ on the floor more to spread the court. As you see, he had a great game today as well, not coming off the bench. But when it counts, he needs to be there a little bit more, in my opinion.
His intensity impressed me. Everything he said at the end of the bubble, when he was really upset at his teammates for not stepping up more, and then the accountability he had on the floor tonight, and the passion, he was screaming and yelling, and I was impressed. I was impressed by JJ. Impressed. So an Ingram prop is something that you will be looking at. If you were to attack the Ingram prop, how would you do it? Would you do it points, rebounds, and assists?
I'm not going to count. I'm not going to look for him to get 11 assists again. So I would look for points and rebounds. I definitely look more on the point side though. I like him as a scorer. As you said, he looks smooth. He's you know, nothing's too hard for him. Everything's just kind of coming easy to him. Now, obviously, it is just one game. But I definitely look for points in that because one thing I don't like is Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero from a defensive aspect.
Oof,
you know?
Yeah.
So I get, are they gonna throw Duncan Robinson on him, or are they gonna put Hercules, or you got Butler? It's a bad matchup for
Anybody.
For anybody
That's
on
why
them when it comes to Ingram. And like you said, he's playing great. He looked real nice tonight, you know. And he's sharing the ball. The game is just coming to him. And also for that under is 5 with Miami, it's 5-1 in the last 6 as a favorite. So I know obviously it's a new year, but these trends continue to go, and everything to me screams under. And just by watching the matchups, watching the one game from Miami and the Pelicans, I definitely see an underplay here. What's your feel on that, Jimmy?
I like the underplay. I would prefer it first half, and I think that after talking this out, and I'd like to hear Wham one more time after hearing you moving on the under, which he was leaning on, see if that pushes him over. But I think the Heat come out first half. I think they're going to be an angry group. They don't want to start the year 0-2, and the Pelicans are going to be feeling very good about themselves, and it's a kind of tricky game. I love the 12 p.m. Eastern unders. I always have.
Right.
So I think I don't have a first half under yet. Oh, sorry, that's your Ingram possible. But I think I'm going to move on two here. I'm going to move on the first half under, and the Heat first half is going to be my plan. Again, those odds I don't have available yet. Let me pull up a book and see if they do. Wham, back to you. Is there anything that you want to make official here?
Well,
now, I do want to go into what he said about that Ingram prop, about the assist. I think that may be something that we want to keep an eye on, because I looked at the depth chart. He's kind of one of those playmaker guys back on the Lakers. He could be one of the point guards for here. So that's probably one of the reasons why Lonzo didn't play that well. because I mean he didn't have to play that well because he was getting 11 assists. He was on pace to
Well,
get
they got
11
2 point
assists,
guards
right?
back there with Bledsoe and
Right.
you know.
Well, I don't think Bledsoe is going to run point guard though at all. I don't think he's going to run point guard at all. I mean, as far as we didn't really see him distributing like that. What was his
I just mean traditionally, like he is a point guard. You know what position
right,
he's playing? To me, he's a point guard. You know what I'm saying?
100.
Score first point guard, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like for sure,
and he can defend well. Wham, do you want to make any moves here before we move on to game 2?
But I think the Pelicans is probably my lean long term, and the under is very intriguing though. My book is giving me a 226. That's the reason why I'm not looking at it right now. I can
give you 4 official plays for you guys. We use only the legal licensed books, so I can give you a book that's available for all the cappers in America to bet on, and that's FanDuel sitting at 227.5. So I can make that official for you.
Yeah, let me get that under right there. That's gonna be an official play right there. If I could get the 227.5, that's it right there.
That the wham bam. Thank you, man.
That's it. That's it.
Wham bam is in on the under 227.5 at -110. Both our experts are on the full game under in Pelicans Heat.
And Jimmy, just not to cut you off, boss, but on that prop for Ingram, do you know what the prop was today on his points? I had a lot going on with a lot of games.
No.
Do you have that? No, I don't have that. I didn't write that down. But 24, I probably would take anything. I wouldn't take probably anything over 22. Now, with him having such a good game, it might be high. So that's just what stood out to me. But like I said, follow me on Twitter. Follow, Jimmy will put it out. And when the props come out, I'm going to dive into it even more because numbers, when I see them, they stand out to me. And then I go and look at the matchups a little more. But definitely, I think Ingram is going to be, riding a nice little streak here early and probably the majority of the season.
I don't remember him ever looking as smooth as he looked.
Well, he's got all the talent in the world, but
he was in complete control, and he's got so much length, and that's not easy to be in complete control when you have that kind of length. He was spectacular. He was best player on the floor.
They compared him to KD coming out because of his body type, and obviously that was a reach, and it's taken him quite some time, but. He's a poor man's on maybe a dark night, KD.
Let's move on to the next spot on the card. 2:30 p.m. Eastern. We have Warriors Bucks. Bucks are 9.5-point favorites. This total is 232.5. And what a basketball game! I want to watch my Raptors as much as possible, but I couldn't take my eyes off of this game. I spent more time watching the Bucks Celtics. It was just very good basketball. And the Celtics fans, you guys are you're so lucky. You're going to have Jaylen Brown and Tatum for so long, and they're just so special. All right, we're at Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Draymond Green has already been ruled out for Christmas Day. They're hoping he can come back on Sunday, and they also have a game, I believe, on Tuesday. Hoping they can come back then. Warriors coming off a wake-up call. Ugly 125-99 loss at Brooklyn. Our Dutch boy Fresh was on Brooklyn -7. He wanted to double up, but he didn't get the hook came up. It was 4.5, and he wanted the 4, understandably so. These Warriors were down 38 at one point. Steph Curry had 20 points, 10 assists, but he was a -23 on the floor. Second overall pick, James Wiseman, with 7 of 13 from the field for 19.6 rebounds and had by far the best plus-minus of the starters at -10 by far. It was a huge jump when he came to the second best plus-minus. Andrew Wiggins looked terrible. I don't know. I wanted
personal.
Yeah, man. I just want to give up on him. He's like, he's the stepson that I don't want anything to do with. 4 for 16 for 13 points. And this is it for me. So, 4 for 16, 13 points, whatever. He got 2 rebounds and 1 assist in 31 minutes. Get me out on the floor. At least I'll hustle.
I told you he had that 1-2, bro.
Go on. That's just pitiful. Yeah. That makes me I'm disliking him more and more. 2 rebounds and 1 assist in 31 minutes. And of course it's because they were getting killed. And when his team is losing, he's just a fucking lollygagger. Kelly Oubre's first game in the Warrior uniform was awful. 3 for 14 from the field, 0 for 6 from 3. Eric Pascal, 1 rebound at the power forward position. He scored 6 points. He was a minus 28 in 22 minutes. So let's start with the Warriors. So at point guard, Steph Curry, Brad Wanamaker. Shooting guard, Kelly Oubre, Damian Lee. Small forward, Andrew Wiggins, Kent Bazemore. The power forward with Draymond Green hurt, so Pascal there. Center, James Wiseman and Kevon Looney. Let's start with the Warriors here, and we'll start with you, Wham Bam. Can they bounce back? And bounce back in Milwaukee is not easy.
Yeah, bounce back in Milwaukee off a flight going all the way across the country. That's tough in the pandemic, thinking about everything that's going on right now. As far as them losing, I think they just came off a flat-footed. Kelly Oubre, first off, I actually am high on Kelly Oubre, this addition to them. Very good player, very athletic. You seen one of the plays that he made with the backboard, with the tip in. He tried to dunk the play before, like the play before he tried to dunk on somebody, got hung, was high enough to really make the play. You know what I mean? So I feel like he was streaky during the preseason, scoring crazy, just like Kuzma was, right? I mentioned this on the Wham Talk last time, and I think he's gonna get to it. Steph Curry the same. Wiseman, he's going to look a little bit better because they ran him against the, towards the garbage time. So I think that's the reason why he looks a little bit better, because they ran him garbage time there. But for the most part, Brad Wanamaker is a great addition that you mentioned. Great addition. Keep the guard play there. I think they're going to play a little bit better. Now, Andrew Wiggins, it does rely on him. It's like betting against a Bill O'Brien team sometimes. You know what I mean? When you're betting with Andrew Wiggins, you don't know what type of effort you're going to get. This guy, you don't know. So I feel like Andrew Wiggins is
That's
he's
not
a
the Bill
great
O'Brien, Brian.
he's a great athletic player, though. Don't get me wrong. On defense, if you look at him on defense, he looks amazing. Players have trouble getting back by him. You know what I mean? So I do like that part about him. That's the reason why I was kind of high on their defense, and I like the under in that game, and it did cash. That's why I said I was kind of feeling the size too hard. I should have been leaning towards these totals. So I might be leaning towards this under as well. I mean, this is the highest total that I've seen. You know what I mean? One of the highest ones at 232 at my book. I might be leaning towards this under as well. I think it's going to be a brick fest. I mean, you look at this. Look at the Warriors. I mean, the Golden State. They have shooters, but they didn't display it as far as last game. This other team, they don't really have that many shooters. I don't think like they did back then. Even though Brooke Lopez shoots a shot, I would probably lean towards this under, man. Like this game, even though it is a bad travel spot for Golden State, they might have the best shooters. They had an issue. Might be leaning towards under 232 as well, man. I don't have a official play on this play yet. Only made two so far. You know what I mean? The one that we just talked about, and one coming up. But at this point, this is the one that I really want to hear you guys think about. Like, as far as this under 232, it is a high total. It is a high total. You can see Steph Curry getting back, bouncing back. You know what I mean? They still could get smacked up at the end and not cover this spread, the Golden State Warriors. So I don't want to go ahead and bet on Andrew Wiggins, because he could make this happen, though, honestly. I feel like him playing better on this team could really make or break their seeding. I think they have the team to make it to the playoffs, but I think it really relies on players like him to step up. Draymond Green is going to be a great addition when he gets here, but right since he's not here, if you're thinking about backing the Warriors, you got to be looking for Andrew Wiggins to be playing good. And right now, I don't feel that confident. I think them, breaking is a little bit more.
They seem like such a pushover. They have no toughness, but they need Draymond Green in there so badly to give them some swagger and some toughness. This team is just, you could bully the shit out of them without Draymond on the floor. Dutch, what are your feelings here? Because the more we talk about this game, the more I think Bucks win by double digits, and maybe I should take that.
Well,
take it away.
Yeah, well, I will say, if you're calling for Draymond as your savior, you're in big trouble. That's for sure, bro. But I don't think he's going to be too much of a help. I mean, who they need is Klay Thompson. When Clay gets back, then they'll be the Warriors again. And Wiggins, maybe they'll move Wiggins by then, because Oubre, to me, I don't know. He might. I told you, like we spoke about before, Wiggins is a 3. He's not a 2. and now I think he's in competition with Oubre. They're almost, they're obviously not the same exact player, but they have somewhat similar. They're long, lanky, athletic, not that great at shooting. I actually like Oubre a little more, honestly, personally, when he's on the court,
I
just
agree.
because he has more. He has more want to. He wants to play. Obviously, he didn't have a great game by any means, But I mean, I'm just comparing him to Wiggins. But honestly, with the way that the Bucks just lost this game, the way Greek Freak just choked on that free throw, he shouldn't have been at the line anyways, but he was, and he missed. I think he's probably not going to sleep until Christmas, and I think they're going to come out angry. I think they're going to come out very angry. Now, when they played last year, obviously, last in January 8th, they played. It was a 107-98 Bucks win in Milwaukee. Now, Giannis did have 30 points, 13 rebounds, and shot 10 of 21 from the field. All right, now the Bucks at home are 0-3-1 in the last 4 ATS. So they haven't really been covering at home. That's one thing that goes against, how big I am. I do think they're going to come out hot, but at the end of the day, they're showing that they're not covering big numbers at home. Now the Warriors in Milwaukee are 7-3-1 in the last 11. So you don't think they like to go to Milwaukee, but they seem to have not really mind Milwaukee, in the past. But obviously different teams. But that is a nice trend that stands out. Now what I'm looking at is simply, I believe the Bucks are going to come out angry, and if I can get anywhere under 6 or under, I would like to lock that in. Obviously, I don't believe we have a first half, Jimmy. The line's 9.5. Is that correct? Or do you got 9?
It's 9.5 right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I agree.
Yeah.
There's
Bucks
no
first half. I would love to see a 5, 5.5, a 6. I'm gonna eat it up.
I agree. We attack the first half immediately. I would even say first quarter had the Warriors not had such a terrible game. If the Warriors had a decent game, I'd be all over Milwaukee first quarter. I could see them hitting some buckets early, feeling a little better about themselves. I think Milwaukee first half is a great play. Heartbreaker, they lost tonight at Boston, 122-121. Giannis Antetokounmpo at the line. We talked about it before the show started. 0.4 seconds left. He didn't look confident. He hit the first, but was way short on the second. He played well. I mean, 35 points, 13 and 26 shooting, 13 rebounds, but he turned the ball over 7 times. The guy's just charged. How many charges did he have tonight? At least 4.
Yeah.
At least 4. Drew Holiday was
he's
good.
Nice, man.
He's a nice. Yeah, he's an upgrade from Bledsoe. There's no doubt about it. 10 to 16, 25.6 rebounds, 3 assists. Chris Middleton was as good as he can play. God, he was good. What a playmaker. 10 for 20, 27 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists. The Bucks looked so dominant before the season was halted due to COVID. They come back from the break. They look very beatable. They were easily taken out of the playoffs in 5 games by the Heat. They've lost that luster, that whatever it was about them, that swagger. Even when Giannis went to the line, I was like, he just doesn't look like he doesn't have that swagger that some of the stars have, where they know they're going to hit those 2 foul shots. They know they're taking this game to overtime. They don't even need to, the Bucks. DJ Augustine missed the Bucks season opener against the Celtics with a calf injury. He wants to play, maybe in the lineup for this. He's always been absolutely loved in the locker rooms. He's a character player. I think he's going to help this team. I think they missed him tonight. The Bucks also picked up the team option on Dante DiVincenzo, and it's cheap, but he's clearly going to be a big part of this team. The trade for Bogdan Bogdanovic was not a good one for the Bucks, but DiVincenzo played 27 minutes, went 6 for 11 from the field, 3 for 4 from 3, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Bobby Portis looked bad. He was a minus 16 on the floor in 16 minutes with 3 points. Brook Lopez was plus 22 in 29 minutes. Let's go back to Wham. Do the Bucks smash here? I know you're moving and thinking about moving on the total, so make a decision if you want to make that official. And is this a Bucks smash point? And talk to us a little bit about your feelings on Giannis.
I like the first half look by Dutch, and you guys are talking about that. Smash that first half. That makes so much sense coming off a loss. The Bucks do win the first half a lot, so that makes sense. That makes sense to me. And just thinking about the game time decision with DJ Augustine, that could be giving them a big boost towards the perimeter, and they need somebody that can make those shots. I think that is a good play, and I maybe that is something that I want to lock in. I think it should be around like 5.5, 6 maybe, and I think we can even get past that and cover that. So that may be something that we want to lock in right there, bro.
Bucks
Yes,
first half for all of us, for Dutch, Wham, and myself. We're gonna go back to Dutch to see if he has any player prop looks. But you made some interesting comments on Giannis and Antetokounmpo before we started the show. Do you want to share them with everybody? Because I liked it.
I do. I was going on a tantrum because my sister, she was asking me some fantasy advice or whatever. And as we were watching the game, it started to get a little spicy. Tatum hits the bank shot. You know what I mean? It was a really interesting game, like you said. And as some shenanigans, like Dutch mentioned, some shenanigans went down and it came down to the wire between these two free throws between Giannis and the rim. I told my sister, watch him miss one of these. And the reason is because he doesn't have any touch. He doesn't have the right touch to make floaters in the lane. You know, there was a one move that they were going through a fast break. I want to say um, Drew Holiday handed it off to Giannis, and he ended up getting a charging foul. If he had a floater, it's going in. He's getting a blocking foul there just because he's in shooting motion. So I think that this is one of those things he doesn't have certain things that we need to get us through the playoffs, to get us in these big moments. But in this case, off of back to back against a team that doesn't have all their players back, and it looks like they could be still on that edge of being a lottery team. Unfortunately, I seen them as far as the Golden State Warriors. The fact that they didn't have Wiseman play in the preseason, it showed tremendously. They were missing Wiseman on wide open looks down the rim. They were missing Wiseman left and right all throughout the game. I do like the Golden State Warriors long term to make us some money later on down the line because I feel like you're going to be able to catch up on his rookie development early because he's so great, so talented. He has the touch that I'm talking about. Giannis doesn't. Like Wiseman has that touch coming into the NBA. So that's my beef with him, really. But mostly, I like this first half look, man. Like I said, it should be probably like 6, bro. That's it.
So, did you want to make the under an official spot as well? It's sitting
Yeah,
at
yeah.
232.5.
Lock that in as well, bro. I think that's gonna be something that we want to be on a because it's gonna go down. It possibly could go up though. Don't get me wrong. It could possibly go up, but 232. Looking at the rest of this card, this might be the biggest under because both of these teams look like they went towards the under, except for this Bucks game because we've seen what type of game was going on there. It was a great showcase of what's going on in the league future. But
When I put out your official plays tonight, I'm going to put on a little caveat saying that there's more lines coming out tomorrow and there will be additions made. So we just in case of market movement, we need to lock in these spots that you guys are making official tonight. Okay, we go over to Dutch and let's put a bow on this and move on. But Dutch, are there any player props that you're looking out for in this game?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously we spoke about Giannis. It's going to be high. I still believe, he's going to get 30.
Who can defend him with Draymond not on the floor? Is Pascal going to try to stand in his way? I agree.
Exactly.
I think
exactly. Like we talked about it with the bigs last in the first show without Wiseman did run, but it didn't matter. They're a liability defensively.
Dutch, the only fear I have here is exactly why you didn't hit the Harris prop. What if the Bucks are up 25 going into the fourth?
Yeah, well, after the Warriors coming out, getting blown out like that, usually I expect the NBA team to bounce back. That's why I'm also staying away from the full game, and also the numbers tell me not to touch the full game. So I actually, if you made me take a pick full game, I would probably take the Warriors maybe as a backdoor, but I definitely think it'll be a double point spread, advantage to the Bucks at halftime. And who knows what happens in the second half? Because I don't like the Bucks when it comes down to the fourth quarter, as you've seen what just happened. Once they get more, with the team, everyone gets settled in and they realize Drew Holiday has to have the ball at the end of the game. Giannis does not need the ball. You don't have to take him out of the game. He just doesn't need to touch the damn ball. Like you run everything through Drew at the end of the game. That's what he's there for. I'm not that big on the Bucks simply because I don't think they have their two guard, DaVincio, however you say his name. He's solid. He had a decent game tonight. He's solid, but you're not winning an NBA championship as him as your starting two guard. I don't care what anybody says. So they'll make a move. I do believe they'll make a move and go get maybe like a Buddy Hield, somebody like that. Eventually, I see Milwaukee making a move. Obviously, they tried to make that move and they gave almost a house and it fell through. That shows you how desperate they really are because they know they need another piece. He ain't it at the 2. So when that happens, I'll be more confident in backing the Bucks. But I love them first half, especially off of a loss. But the Bucks have made money for me, a lot in the past couple of seasons first half. But I don't like 9.5. I definitely would lean the Warriors. But when we're talking props, boss, I'm gonna go ahead and look at Jrue Holiday. I almost tweeted this out today. I didn't fire it though. I was so busy, but I was looking when I was breaking down the games, and he was 15.5 minus 112 on DraftKings. And I was like, man, that's gonna hit so easy. But I knew Marcus Smart, looked at the matchups real quick, and I was like, okay, I'll leave it alone. I'm not going to be greedy. Obviously, that hit very easily. So if it's anything under 20, I do believe it hits very easily with Holiday. Now, last year, when he was obviously with the Pelicans, against the Warriors, he went for 23, 15, and 7. Now he had 15 assists and 7 rebounds in the game he played last year against the Warriors. So, I think he's obviously comfortable when he plays against them. He had a great game against them. The matchups fit well for him. Like I said, I think he offensively is by far the best player on the court when it comes to Milwaukee. So I would look for him to attack, and I look for the assist and for the points, both props. And I'll look in, and hopefully we get a good number. Obviously, it's not going to be 15.5 again. Hopefully they don't, juice it up too high for us. But I'm definitely going to be looking on that. That stands out a lot to me. And like I mentioned, Giannis is getting 30 and 10 minimum.
Yeah, Giannis is going to go off on Christmas Day. I'm going to make a move on the Giannis props. And then if I make the move on the Giannis props, but then I'll have to cheer on the Warriors because I need them to keep it within 15 points. I don't want him sitting there.
That's a good point.
With a Santa hat on in the fourth quarter. I need him to be in the game.
Honestly, Giannis will probably be too high, but it's going to hit. So, I might, I'll tweet it out for sure. We'll let you know if I do lock it in, but most likely I'm going to see it and I'll be like, damn, that's high. And then it's going to hit in the third quarter.
Yeah, I feel you. Okay. So Wham has made official the under 232.5. We are all moving on the first half as soon as possible. And I am interested in the Giannis props after he missed that foul shot. And he was, charging in the people like out of control. It was everything that Brandon Ingram wasn't. Brandon Ingram was so smooth out there tonight, and Antetokounmpo was just smashing into place. Also, and you talk about Jrue Holiday, he shut down Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart did nothing offensively with Holiday defending.
Yeah. He's elite, man. Defender, really, when he wants to. Elite. Remember, fellas, it's a holiday. Drew will pay us on
right
for the show.
There it is.
Let's move on. Let's move on to 5 p.m. Eastern. Is our next part. This game is going to be so much fun. I can't fucking wait. Brooklyn Nets, Boston Celtics. What 2 spectacular basketball teams we get. This is our Christmas present. The Celtics are 2.5-point dogs. The total is 226.5. Ooh-wee, is this a playoff preview? TD Garden, Boston, Massachusetts. Both teams starting out the year 1-0. Nets looked excellent in their easy 125-99 home win over the Warriors. They were up 63-45 at the break, up 38 at one point. Kyrie Irving looked incredible. I was on his prop, and I got lucky. I mean, it was over 30.5 when we did the show. When I went to bet it, it had gone to 29.5, but it was more juiced. It went to minus 125. I bet it, and then about 45 minutes after that, it went back to 30.5, bet 35. An hour after that, it went back down to 29.5. He goes for 26 points and 4 assists. I was fortunate. It was just 25 minutes. He was a plus 32 on the floor, and he had just 1 turnover. Man.
He was so locked in, bro. I was like, wow. Crazy.
Enjoy it because it won't last. So milk the shit out of it now. Kevin Durant did not look good. Oh, sorry. Did not look like he had been off. Sorry. I'm freezing. It's late. It's 12:21 a.m. All right, it's late. Kevin Durant did not look like he had been off for 18 months. That was the sentence.
That's for sure.
That was the sentence that I wrote.
That's for sure.
I swear. He went for 22 points in 25 minutes. Dinwiddie started at the 2. I was curious to see how they were going to do this. Our friend, odds.com's friend, incredible stand-up comedian and a great poker player, Tim Steves, his mom would always say about the Raptors, he would always say, he'd go, Tim, the Raptors are as deep as the ocean, baby. They're as deep as the ocean. And they're not anymore. Who are? The Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, man.
They are
one deep basketball team. And I know injuries can attack that, but ooh-wee. Kyrie Irving, Spencer Dinwiddie at the 1, and Dinwiddie can play the 2. So can Karis LeVert, and Dutch called out Karis LeVert for a big game, and he had it. Landry Shamet. You have Joe Harris and Taurean Prince at the 3, at the 4, Durant and Crooks at the 5, DeAndre Jordan and Jared Allen. Wow. And then we have the Celtics, which is without Kemba Walker. This is a team that has no depth. Maybe no depth is a little harsh, and their top players are spectacular and young and capable of playing heavy minutes. But Celtics won a 122-121 beauty at home over the Bucks. Tatum, he didn't call bank, but he called game, as Paul Pierce would say. And Giannis got the 2 foul shots. We've talked about that. Tatum went 30.7 boards, 6 of 13 from 3. Jaylen Brown went for 33. It's a very good basketball team. Kemba Walker still out of the lineup. They started Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Daniel Theis, and Tristan Thompson. Jeff Teague also played some important minutes, and he's a key factor. I'm curious to see what happens to, with Tremont Waters and Peyton Pritchard and Carson Edwards and Javonte Green. Not Javonte Green as much as the others. Tremont Waters, I'm very curious to see how they use. Semi Ojeleye had a great game. Man, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I believe he was a plus 19. He looks very strong, but this team doesn't have a lot of depth. We'll start with Dutch Boy Fresh here. Celtics 2.5-point home dogs. They get to stay at home after beating the Bucks by a point. Comfortable. Nets are coming to town. Totals at 226.5. Take it away.
Okay, so yeah, it was a great game tonight with the Celtics and Bucks. But looking at the Celtics, I believe they lack shooting. They obviously lost Hayward. You said Wanamaker gone from the bench. He was a nice solid backup. Kimba's not there right now, but I just don't see. I thought they were going to go out and get a nice shooter. They don't. I think they lack it. Now they obviously, when they have even without Kimba, when they have Smart, Jaylen, and Tatum, that's pretty elite right there. Obviously, Smart more on the defensive end, but he is a defensive threat at all times, pretty much against anybody on the court. But I do believe they're also lacking in size as well inside. Now, they have scrappy players with Theis and Thompson. Good pickup. I like it, especially on the rebounds. But I think when it becomes on the defensive side of the floor, I think they're a big liability inside the paint. Obviously, you got big guards with Tatum and Brown. But besides that, the biggest guy on the court is Theis, and I believe he's 6'9", probably more closer to 6'8". So you can pretty much attack the paint. And when you got Kevin Durant inside of 7 foot, he should be able to do whatever he wants. Kyrie, you could kind of pick or choose. Dinwiddie might go off. I feel like it kind of depends on who Smart's not guarding. I do feel like Kyrie's going to attack because it is Boston, obviously. But they only really have one guy that can guard, and it's a mismatch everywhere else. But it really is inside. I think that Brooklyn will be able to get inside at will. Now, the Nets are 7-2 in their last 9 ATS on the road. They're 5-2 ATS on their last 7 against the Celtics. Now, Boston did win the matchup on August 5th. They played the Nets at 129 to 120 in Boston. Now, LeVert had 51 points in that game. It did go to overtime, though, but LeVert has been obviously now with Kyrie and KD back in the lineup. Obviously, LeVert's not going to get it as much, but he still had in 24 minutes, like we mentioned, he had 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists against the Warriors in Game 1. So he's a poor man. He's a poor man's James Harden. I'm telling you, you can't shoot it like that, but he wants the ball and he can go to the hole, and it's smooth. So I expect a big game from him. and I expect the Celtics to play big, or excuse me, I expect the Nets to play big against the Celtics. And I really want to load up here, but like you mentioned, the Celtics are pretty solid in the first with their first team. So I'm going to stay away from the first quarter. I'm going to wait and attack when actually we get some of that bench. And like you mentioned, how deep Brooklyn is. So I'm going to go first half, and I'm going to go full game as well. With the best line you can get me on the full game. And I obviously don't believe the first half is out yet, but it shouldn't be no more than 1.5, maybe at the most.
Yeah, I agree with that. I really agree with that. Especially the Celtics coming off that 122-121 win. I agree with that. Let's hear what Wham has to say. We're going to lock you in for full game on the Nets, -2.5 and -110.
Also, the Celtics, just real quick, Jim. Also, the Celtics shot 45% from three against the Bucks. I don't see that happening again. Like I mentioned, I don't really think they are good, have a great shooter on that team. They have guys that can stroke it, but they don't have a great shooter. And they were out-rebounded by 15 against Milwaukee. So,
and it's the Karis LeVert props that you are going to be focusing on if you
I'm going to be looking at I'm looking at Karis LeVert and Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown averaged 21.5 points in the two matchups last year against the Nets, and he's averaged 20 and 6 for the season. He just came off a 33-5-4 game against Milwaukee. So I'm going to load up on Jaylen Brown because he should be able to get his. Like I mentioned, Smart's gonna, not Smart, excuse me, but I believe that Kyrie, Dinwiddie, and Joe Harris, they're nice, but none of them guys can guard Jaylen Brown. So you got to pick Tatum. I feel like they'll focus more on Tatum. Jaylen's gonna get his. Now off the 33 points, hopefully we can get a good number there. But like I mentioned, he averaged 21.5 against them last year.
Great breakdown, very interesting. Wham Bam, take it away. This is tricky for us.
This is a tricky spot for me. I feel like this is one of those things that we're gonna look at it like, hey, Brooklyn Nets, they came off of beating down the brakes off of the Golden State Warriors, and the Golden State Warriors showed no effort on defense. I thought it was going to be the other way around, honestly, coming into that game. That's the reason why I took the Warriors. And I looked at the line. It started at 5 for that Warriors game. Then it opened up. It moved to 7.5 when the Draymond Green news was out. So obviously the bookmakers looked at it as far as the liability with the defense there. They don't look at it much of a liability on this game because Boston does have defense, like you're saying. Who's going to be on? Who's Marcus Smart playing? I like Robert Williams. Me and Dutch, we like Robert Williams, man. He's a good defender down there in the low. So I like this team defensively. Maybe this is this might be a tough spot for Brooklyn to come back and getting those easy drive-through dunks that they were getting last game. It looked pretty easy.
Doesn't get as many minutes as he should, though. No.
I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this like, is KD going to go off like he did? And is he really, at this level already? Of beating up everybody without them having any scramble. I like this 6 seconds offense that they implemented. The old school Suns. I thought they were going to do great, but I didn't think they were going to do this great. They look way better than those Suns that we're talking about. You know what I mean? So as far as, especially with the bench, like you're saying, they're so deep that I don't want to go ahead and fade them. So I would probably lean towards this under once more. But I'm not really taking it. So I'm going to just say this is a pass game for me. I'm going to watch it. Like you said, man, this is going to be some great basketball displayed. I could see some more jump shots like Tatum was hitting today. Maybe calling bank this time. And I'm just going to sit here and watch, bro.
That shot was so wild. Over and to the Gumpo off the glass like that.
It's crazy.
It's so nice having NBA back, man. Yeah, that was just such a and I truly mean it when I talk about the Celtics fans, how lucky you guys are. These two kids are just going to be monsters for so long. So what we have right now is a first half full game for Dutch. The full game we can give him right now, -2.5 at -110. I want the Nets too. I'm not sure if I'm going to double up, and I think that God, it's very interesting spot because a message needs to be sent to the Nets from the Celtics.
Division rival.
Yeah, and it's the best division in basketball. And maybe I should say that. I know
I agree.
Okay, but I know some people on the West Coast might not like that comment, but
Pacific is nice.
It's nice. But I'm hesitant. I want to. I think the Celtics need to show a show of force. But man, I'm going to be moving on the Nets. I just don't want to double up. I would like to focus on one spot. Hey, let me ask you quick, Dutch, very quickly, because we got to move on. But if you had a choice, if you could only make one bet first half or full game, what would you make?
I would do the full game simply because the Nets are a better team. We're forgetting that they're missing. The Celtics do not have the third best player in Kemba Walker. I mean, Absolutely. He's the leader too. Like if Kemba was playing, I feel like this could be a game that with this line, okay, let's go. I feel like that should be the line with Kemba. I feel 2.5 right now. We're getting value with the Nets, and it's not going to be there in 2 or 3 weeks. So I don't mind. I'm loading up on the first half because I just see it happen. I didn't do it last week on the show. I knew I should have. I'd let the hook get away from me, but the Nets are clearly the better team. So if you ask me full game first half, I would do full game because they're the better team.
And we know, and it's sad to say, and I don't want to but we know that if the odds of the Nets getting through 72 games into the playoffs and having Kyrie and KD in 100% shape is small to me.
Right, exactly. So we better juice it while we can, my man.
Agreed. All right, we have 2 games left on this card. What a treat it is to cap basketball with these guys. We got Trotwam rolling with us. We got Dutch Boy Fresh. Thank you guys for watching odds.com. We move on to Dallas Mavericks, LA Lakers. We have the Lakers 6-point favorites. The total is at 229.5. And the Mavericks are in action right now. They're down 9 points. It is 12:33 a.m. Eastern. The Suns are up 9 points. It's been sort of a low-scoring game. And
Luka's struggling, I believe.
He looked rough early.
0 for 4 from 3, 8 of 20 for 24 points. He's a -8 right now. Dorian Finney-Smith is a +6. He's the only one other than I won't even mention the 2 minutes that Willie Cauley-Stein was on the floor for. So he's the only one. Powell is 18 minutes, 2 points. I've been very interested to see what he was going to do this year. Hardaway 3 for 10 from the field. Those threes, or the 3 baskets that he hit, were all from 3. 3 from 6 from the line. He's got to fix that. Luka has 8 boards and 5 assists at this point. There's 11 minutes left in the game. Jay Rich has got 12 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, and they're not turning the ball over at all. Luka has 1 turnover in 29 minutes.
That's good.
Hardaway is 0. Richardson is. So the story is the Suns, and we're going to enjoy capping this basketball team this year. But let's not, time is effect. So let's not get into this love fest that we may or may not have with this basketball team. Okay, so let's talk about these Mavericks here. Kristaps Porzingis will be out until at least January. It's so funny with Kristaps. You always hear how good he looks in rehab. I mean, oh man, he looks so good in rehab. You should see how fast he's swimming. Come on, all right. We want to see him on the floor. Dwight Powell, Maxi Kleber, and Finney-Smith will have expanded roles in the meantime. And Jay Rich, he looked great in preseason. He's a good ball player. Luka and Jalen Brunson at the 1, at the 2, Jay Rich and Josh Green at the 3, Tim Hardaway, Dorian Finney-Smith at the 4 and 5. You have Maxi Kleber, Dwight Powell, Willie Cauley-Stein, and Boban. Then we get to Lakers. LeBron says the ankle injury he suffered on Tuesday night won't keep him out of the Christmas Day game. He talked about how the wine is going to rejuvenate him. He's not drinking this $9 and $8 a bottle shit that I'm drinking. And you guys get it even cheaper in America. I mean, what, Charles Shaw? I mean, he's not sitting there with a Charles Shaw the third. So
I don't know what the hell that is.
It's cheap wine. It's cheap wine. Okay.
I used to drink Carlos Rossi wine back in the day.
There we go.
Yeah,
top of that line wine.
LeBron's drinking that
line, yeah.
and I'm sure it will help him. He sat out the last 8 minutes of the season opening home 116-109 loss to the Clippers. He went for 22 points. Anthony Davis had just 18 points, 7 boards in 31 minutes. Oh man, Marcus Gasol, if he wanted us to not miss him, he sure played the part, man.
Told you that's a slow mo.
Oh man, Dutch, I was thinking about everything we talked about on the show. 5 fouls in 12 minutes and didn't take a shot. He had 1 rebound. I mean, I like him, and we won a championship with him. But
yeah,
Montrezl Harrell went 6 for 7 for 17 points and 10 boards. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder. This is an angry Montrezl Harrell, and they're going to get a ton out of him. Wesley Matthews looked terrible. Scoreless in 11 minutes, was a minus 18 while he's on the floor. So you got LeBron James, Alex Caruso at the 1, Schroeder's at the 2 at this point, Wesley Matthews, you got Horton Tucker, small forward Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Markieff Morris, power forward Anthony Davis, Kyle Kuzma, center Marcus Gasol, Montrezl Harrell. We're not going to be going over all the players and positions, once we get a week into the season. So if that's putting you to sleep, I apologize. But just early in the year, we're going to do that. Trotwam, your hometown Lake show, 6-point favorites after that ugly start to their season. What move are you going to make here?
this is interesting as well. Now, Luka, are they going to play bad again? Because they're obviously going to lose this game against this team, this Phoenix Suns team. So are they really missing KP's due to come back in January 9th? That's a long time from now, man. I think they're really going to be missing Seth Curry. Seth Curry was one of the top 3-point shooters that they had last year, shooting at 45% for 3, and I think he was number 3, and it was tied for second, honestly. And as far as them having their foot on the pedal, they might not be shooting that good. I should have been on the Suns today. That's why I feel. Should have been on the Suns today just because I'm low on Dallas. I think coming off, they got a tough road record starting off the year, if I'm not mistaken. And those players that they're missing, like Seth Curry, like I said, he's going to have a big year this year under Doc Rivers, his father-in-law. And their best shooter is Tim Hardaway Jr. He's one of those guys that's streaky. He could go bad real quick. He could play good, though, real quick, get fire. His dad is in the stands. If his dad ever gets in the stands, he's going to ball out. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's how I feel about him. But I think they're relying on their defense. Looking at the players that they added, like Wes Iwundu, Josh Richardson, the black belt guy, James Johnson, those guys, they got a lot tougher, but losing that ball handling from DeLon Wright, losing the ball handling as well for Seth Curry, I think that's going to help and hurt, and maybe putting my expectations for Luka MVP year maybe going down the drain early, you know what I mean? Because they got this tough record along with KP not coming back, not out. It might be a little bit too much for the young kid this early. You've seen what happened with Trae Young, throw the keys to him early. He needs some reinforcement. He plays better when he gets the reinforcement. So I think he needs more reinforcement, man, and they might have to do some adjustments later on down the line. I like the Lakers to come back. This is a loss that they did foul. They were sleepwalking in the first half. I ended up being on the wrong side of them having in the first half. But the second quarter, they played really well, came back from 18. They did pretty good later on down the stretch. I think the triangle for the Clippers showed that it was really running crisp there. So I was on the wrong side of that as well. I think we're going to be on the right side this time for the most part with this Lakers game. I like the Lakers, but I'm not going to take it. I'm going to have to watch this first off because, to be honest, the way they were running, finish the minutes out there, it looked good. They had a lot of little interactions with Dennis and Trez on a wing that reminded us of what Lou Will and Trez was doing. So I think that's going to be a plus on the bench, but for the most part, it has to gel in, and these guys not getting that much time in. I don't want to jeopardize that. So these new teams like the Lakers, I'm not too big on against this team right here. But I'm not going to do anything on this game as well. I feel like this Dallas team, just because we didn't get the chance to watch them that much, and I honestly think they're going to be a little bit more struggle off with KP out until January 9th. That's trouble, and without Steph Curry and that little ball handler. So I'm leaving it alone. But I do lean the Lakers. It may be something that I'm leaning towards the first half again. I don't want to go against what I was thinking early on. I think the Lakers will be trying to rest AD and LeBron long term. So Lakers first half, I do feel like that will be kicking up soon. And if we could get low lines, like if we could get a 3 in this, I might be leaning towards the Lakers first half once more. I don't want to go against it just because I was on the last time and it lost. I think this might be a little bit better of a spot for it, especially with the key losses that Dallas, we just talked about. So I might be on that.
Vogel's going to enforce his 31-minute limit. He's going to enforce it, look at the big picture, and not care about the early season losses. This is a tricky spot. Let's hear what Dutch Boy Fresh has to say. Mavericks, Lakers.
Okay, so with the Mavericks, I do like the team, but I think KP's a big piece, like you mentioned. He does. Luka, I don't. He's great. He really is, but he's got to shoot better from the 3, especially if KP's not going to be there. Now, I really like the Lakers to bounce back here. The Lakers, unfortunately, are in the last 6 games are 1-5 ATS. Now they did win the last 2 matchups with the Mavs last year, and they covered both games. Now against the Lakers, the Mavs are 1-5 in their last ATS versus the Lakers. So that does show to me that Luka hasn't he played there 4 games last time and they beat him. So Luka's not doing crazy numbers against the Lakers. And I believe he didn't have AD in one of those victories as well. Now the under is in the last 5 meetings is went under every time. So I lean the under, but I don't have a play on that. But simply what I think is the Lakers coming off a loss. It's Christmas Day. It's COVID time. It's the pandemic. LeBron knows the whole world, even on Christmas, usually watching. It's even more now. He's the man. He's King James. He's bigger than basketball, really. I mean, he's an icon, right? So he knows everybody's going to be watching. He's going to show out. But, LeBron ain't going to play 40 minutes to do that. He's going to get it. He's going to do it when he has to. So I'm going to lock in. I believe we got the Lakers -6?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to lock that in, and I'm going to wait, Jimmy, on – I'm looking the other way, Wham. I'm looking at the Mavericks first half. I definitely won't take them at 3, but if I can maybe I do believe if we wait and it can get bet up, I can maybe get a 4 out of there. I think if we wait, especially to damn near game time, I might, some Laker money will come in and see if I can't get a, 3.5. I would like 4 would be really juicy. Even a little more than that, see what kind of money we could get. But I do think the Lakers aren't going to come out. Maybe that first quarter with the starting, they'll come out a little bit, but they're coasting and they're going to play. They're going to come out and play 3rd, 4th quarter basketball. So I'm going to lock in. They will cover the spread at 6. But I do see some value here with the Mavericks first half. I'm going to look at more of this game that they played with the Suns because I haven't been able to see too much of it. But from what I did see, they came out real rusty. So I like Rick Carlisle as a bounce back coach. He'll have the adjustments, and they'll probably come out and play really good basketball early, especially coming off a loss to Phoenix. And the Lakers are just simply the better team. So when I look at that, I think they could go in even being down 5 at halftime and know that they could still cover this game by 10 points.
Yeah, I'm close to pulling the trigger on the Lakers -6. I think I just needed a little bit more time with it. It's funny. I look down at this Mavericks lineup. This lineup that it looked like they were just putting all the right pieces together, and Wham talks about not having Seth there. It's a huge hole in this lineup, and I guess we see Hardaway at times step up, but he's just not consistent. J. Rich is going to bring accountability, and Luka is spectacular, but this just doesn't seem like as strong of a lineup as I
like Jay Rich over, I think, Curry as a starter, especially when it comes down to defense, when it comes down to play,
Definitely.
When it comes down to playoff basketball.
Sure.
Maybe not in the season, but if we're talking playoffs, give me Jay Rich over Curry because Curry's a defensive liability.
But he can hit those daggers.
Yeah. I think you got to you gotta take the good with the bad, bro.
Yeah,
With
but
Steph Curry, I think
Richardson ain't
he
no
hit at a
slouch
high
though. He can
clip.
shoot too, you know.
Yeah, no,
I
Jerry.
mean, if we play right now,
Oh,
if they
true.
played each other, Richardson lock his ass up. I know that.
No, that's right.
So give me that
That's
guy.
true.
Give me him.
I like it. I like it. Lakers -6 and -110.
Yeah.
I'm yet to pull the trigger on anything.
Yeah, real quick from a prop, Jimmy perspective, I'm going to be looking at Schroeder. Last year against the Mavericks, he had 21. Obviously, he was with the Thunder, but in last game against the Mavericks, he went 21, 7, and 6. For last game against the Clippers, he had 14, 12, and 8. So I'm going to look to attack Schroeder. I like you mentioned, the defense of the Mavericks isn't really there. So I really like Schroeder to do his thing, especially with LeBron kind of not doing as much early in the season. So I'm going to look to attack the Schroeder props. Points, probably rebounds and assists, but more towards the points and assists. And like I mentioned, they'll just wait for that.
I love it. I love it. And I'll be in touch with you to tweet out what you make official. But we are making the Lakers -6 official. Let's move on to the last game of the evening, Clippers Nuggets. And man, it just brings back such horrifying memories for me. And it's I wish I didn't have the future. Obviously, I have the future bets on the Clippers because look, I love Jamal Murray. We all love him up here. The Nuggets are a young, exciting team, and it's more fun to cheer on the dog than it is on the favorite and the team that's down 3-1 in the series. It just financially, that wasn't the situation I was in. Ball Arena, Denver, Colorado. Clippers, Nuggets. The Nuggets right now just lost 124-122 in overtime. It's 12:47 a.m. Eastern when we're shooting this. It's Wednesday night, and they just lost to the Kings in overtime. And Jamal Murray, this is exactly the spot when I want to take a player prop on this man. I will be taking Jamal Murray player props in this game. I'm not entirely sure. I guess I'm just going to focus on points. And I'm
Is
going
that
to
a homer pick?
No, it's he went 1 for 9 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3.
Yeah, I know this is one of your big edges. Like you always like that. It's smart too. I like it.
I have such an enormous ROI when these excellent players have terrible nights. And we know what Jamal Murray wants all eyes on him.
Yeah,
Christmas Day is not going to be a spot where he's going to be nervous. He wants all eyes on him. Now, it's possible that he starts off the season slow and that this bet loses on Christmas. But he fouled out of this game in 34 minutes. This man, wherever he is right now, I can tell you what, he's fucking angry. He's extremely angry.
That's good.
4 rebounds, 1 assist.
Damn.
In 34 minutes. I mean, this is bad. This is a bad day. Jokic doing Jokic-like things. My God, look at this line: 29 points, 15 boards, 14 assists. What a
that's the Joker.
God damn, is he good? Michael Porter Jr. This guy should have been a lottery pick. Guy could have been a top 3 pick.
If he would have just played some basketball.
24 points, 9 to 15 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3. So this is an angry Nuggets team. The Clippers won in Tyronn Lue's head coaching debut. Paul George went off. Our man Dutch was all over the Paul George props. 33 points, 13 of 8 shooting, plus 17 in his first game since agreeing to the 4-year, $190 million extension. Kawhi was 10 for 26. You know, that extension is it looks a lot better when you put it right beside Luke Kennard's $64 million.
I'm saying other guys are getting a lot of money, man. Like
Luke Kennard getting $64 million. Montrezl Harrell has every right to be extremely angry, but clearly there's things that we don't really know. There's got to be some sort of reason why they didn't want the 6th man of the year on their basketball team, and it has to do with his character. It just has to. But I don't know about it, so I can't sit here and make any blanket statements. Kawhi, 10 of 26 from the field, 1 for 8 from 3. I remember that Kawhi. I remember it well, and it wasn't wearing a Raptors uniform. Serge Ibaka scored 15 points in his debut for the Clippers. He looked great. 5 of 7, 15 points, 6 rebounds. Nicholas Batum didn't do much offensively, but man, he can defend 3 different positions.
Yeah.
This is a nice player. So you have Beverly, Reggie Jackson at the 1, at the 2, Paul George, Lou Williams. Lou Williams can also play the 1. You have Luke Kennard, Marcus Morris, Nicholas Batum. By the way, Kennard, 4 points. So he's paid off about 50 cents. That's 64 mil. Marcus Morris, Nicholas Batum at the 3, at the 4, Kawhi and Patrick Patterson. We know that Kawhi can play the 3 as well. We have Serge Ibaka at the 5 with Zubac. And then the only real thing with this Denver squad is that JaMychal Green did not play in the season opener against the Kings. He's going to be useful. Millsap looks so good in preseason, and he's getting older, and he's older than his 36 years shows. They have Millsap and JaMychal Green at the 4, Barton and Michael Porter at the 3, Harris and Dozier at the 2, Murray and Monty Morris at the 1, and Jokic and Bol at the 5. Here we go. Clippers, Nuggets, Dutch. Let me pull up a line for you. Sorry, I had to pull up this 124 loss because it just happened. Woof. Nuggets +1. Total 223. What a great game to end it on. Yeah. Clippers, Nuggets rivalry.
Yeah, it's a big game. Obviously, the Clippers going to come in with a little bit of chip on their shoulder from what we all know what happened at the big 3-1 lead. Now, the Clippers actually have been 12-3 in the last 15 ATS road games. Obviously before the bubble. Now they are 1-5 ATS in their last 6 versus the Nuggets. Didn't end too well with that 7-game series. Now the last 3 games in that bubble, they were outscored. The Clippers outscored the Nuggets by 10 points at half, an average of 58-48. So when it mattered, the Clippers didn't do what they're supposed to do. I do believe that the Clippers are going to handle the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets are not as good a team as they were last year. I think they lack at the point guard. I like Murray. He's a stud. I don't know if he's a true point guard, but what do you say, at 1 assist? Come on. You could fall into the game and get 2 assists. So especially as a starting point guard in the NBA. I don't mind Morris off the bench, but they're lacking as a straight point guard to get all these others involved. Also don't like the departure of Jeremy Grant and Plumlee, 2 bigs inside that brought physicalness. Not so much more for Grant, more of athleticism for him, but both rebounding defensively.
Right.
Grant came on. I think Grant was a big piece of why they went so far in the bubble. I like Jeremy Grant. I don't like him shooting threes as much as he was doing, but I think he's a solid all-around basketball player. So I expect the Nuggets to take a step back this year. I'm not going to do the full game simply because of what I just mentioned to you. The numbers just stand out to me that it might not be the right play. The Clippers do have a tendency not to close out, and especially against the Nuggets. And like you just mentioned, Murray coming off a bad game, he might show up. So I'm going to look at that prop too, but I'm going to go ahead and definitely take the Clippers first half. And I might look at first quarter as well. I probably will lock in first quarter, first half. Haven't done a first quarter yet. First quarters were kind of not treating me as well towards the end of the bubble, so I kind of just focus more on first half and full game. But I do expect the Clippers to come out real hot, just like the Bucks. I expect this to be a pretty aggressive Clippers team from start to finish. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Nuggets pulled out. But I would definitely, if you asked me who I'd pick full game, I would pick the Clippers. But I love them first half.
Yeah, I like the Clippers first half. I think they're just playing loose, and part of it, in all honesty, just makes me feel like they didn't take the loss as hard as some of us who lost money on them took it. Wham, Clippers, Nuggets.
That's so true, man. We talked about the money. As far as the money gets played, it looked like everybody's in Ballmer's pockets, bro. That's what I look at this. I think Ballmer's just getting pimped out there, bro. That's what we're seeing here. But that's neither here nor there. We're talking about a game. We're capping a game. I like the Clippers as well. I like them full game. I've already bet the +1. I got the Clippers at +1. I already bet that. I like the Clippers here. This is a bounce back spot. I've already mentioned that they looked really good in their new system as a triangle. Ty Lue played for the Lakers back in 2000s. He played that system with Phil Jackson, and it was something that Kawhi made sure he put his voice out there that he wanted to play this system. That's good and all. I heard that, but the OG actually, one of my OGs actually told me this is one of the reasons why they don't need a point guard. I still think they do need a point guard. I still think they do need a point guard for the Clippers. You're gonna get tired of running the same sets over and over when they're not working. You seen Paul George still doing some pandemic stuff, throwing it to Casper the Friendly Ghost, saying stuff like that. Just kind of throws me off that this team isn't all the way together. But when you look on the other side, like you said, Jeremy Grant is one of those subtractions from a team that you're going to miss. Just like I feel like Steph Curry was for Dallas, I think Jeremy Grant is going to be just like that. Just because now Jokic has to do everything again. He couldn't get past the Lakers because he had to do everything. I think he's going to have tough against this Clippers team, who probably got a little bit more tougher in Zubac. Zubac looked like he got a little stronger. He a little bit more tougher out there. They did lose Trez, but they were willing to do it, like you guys mentioned. Seems like they are maybe on the right track and possibly still giving those vibes of getting championship aspirations, but might still be falling short long term. But right now, I think the Clippers are the right spot. Little revenge game, get back on it. Kawhi, he could do whatever he wanted in this game. He couldn't do everything he wanted in the last game, but he could do whatever he wanted in this game. I think Paul George is going to bounce back this year, like you said, Dutch. You cashed on the Paul George prop. That was a great look, bro. I think Paul George is going to have a great year. Look like OKCP rather than Pandemic P. So I like I like Clippers here. I like a full game. I got them already at plus one.
So can I give you them money line minus 112?
That's cool. I'll take that. That.
That's available at FanDuel right now. All these lines that we're giving out right now are all FanDuel lines. So we have Wham locked in. I think this is I just wish it's funny setup on Christmas Day because some of these teams that I wanted to fade lost, and I was hoping that they would win and feel good about themselves. And we know how situational basketball is, and it changes in the pandemic. And a lot of us made a ton of money in the pandemic. And Dan Kelly, the great NBA capper that we work with, he was like, "Of course, you guys are making so much money. There's no travel.
Right.
There's no partying. There's none of the intangibles that make capping sports so difficult. And now there is travel, but there's no partying. I mean, look at Harden having to explain why he went to his girl's function.
Right.
And having to say to everybody that it's not a strip club because of Dwayne Haskins at a strip club with his mask off. So I do think that at this point, capping is easier. Not as easy as it was in the bubble, but easier than it's been. And we need to take advantage of it. And Dutch Boy Fresh certainly has to get the season started. And now we got Wham Bam coming in. I'm going to review everybody's action right now before we put a bow on this. We get to 12. Oh, and also, I'm going to tweet out tonight the official picks that are available. Tomorrow, I'm going to reach out to both you guys, and we're going to tweet out the first halves and the player props that you guys want to attack. So here we go. Pelicans Heat. Dutch is on the under 227.5 at FanDuel. So is Wham Bam. Dutch is interested in the Ingram prop. And that is everything, right? Stop me if I...
That's it.
Okay. I am going to move on the Heat first half and the first half under. Those aren't available for me, so I'm not going to tweet them out until they're available tomorrow on Christmas Eve. Then we have Warriors, Milwaukee. We have all of us on the Bucks first half.
Yes.
Wham is also on the under 232.5. And Dutch at this point, and he can make some additions because, we've broken these games down together. He can make some additions, but he's looking at Drew props. And I am interested in the Giannis props, and he is interested as well. So we'll see if he pulls the trigger on the Giannis props. And speaking of which, very quickly, Wham, is the prop market something you attack as well?
Yeah, you know what? I was looking at you guys talking about that Giannis prop. That Giannis prop makes so much sense. It correlates with what I'm saying as far as the under as well to me, because I think he's going to dominate, go over this total, and it easily still goes under because the Warriors can't make none of these shots. And I feel like the threes aren't going to be there in this game like they were that we've seen in the other game that they played tonight. So I actually like that, but I'm not going to make it official right now. We can talk about it a little bit later.
Yeah, take your time. Take your time. And again, we're going to be recording all of our action, the three of us, throughout the season. And honesty and transparency is extremely important to us. Then we move on to the Nets Celtics. Nets full game at -2.5 and -110 for Dutch. He's also interested in Karis LeVert and Jaylen Brown props. I too am interested in Nuts first half and full game. And it sounds like Wham's just going to sit back and hope that your son doesn't arrive, right? You have a son coming at any moment.
Yeah, I got kids on the way, bro. Man, it's all bad right now. I got gifts that I'm already unpacked. Let them get the gifts early, bro, because they're gonna look under my bed and find them.
Oh, no.
So the Christmas is gonna come early for me because I'm gonna just sit back and watch this game that we're talking about.
But
this
you
Brooklyn
do have a son coming at any moment.
Yeah, I have a son coming any moment, bro. It's, I think it's January 9th. January 9th is where we're seeing the due date, but for the most part, it could be any day, man. You never know, bro.
And I've got a son coming in February 24th is our due date. So
Nice.
I guess all this son talk really upset Dutch. He just bounced. He just
sorry, Dutch. You got daughters.
Mavericks, Lakers. Okay. Dutch has moved on the Lakers -6. He's interested in the Schroeder props. You're staying off that one as well at this point.
I like the Lakers first half. Actually, I want to make that official. We could lock me in at Lakers first half. I think I could go all the way up to 4.5 on that one. I like the Lakers to come out early, coming off a loss. I'm not going to go against what I was talking about earlier as far as them going into this game, coming out hot, trying to get LeBron and AD rest and run more young players like THT and stuff. So I think the Lakers first half is something I'm going to look into. I like that. I'm going to knock that in as soon as it opens up.
All right. Lakers first half is now official for Wham. And Dutch on Lakers -6 in the Schroeder props. And then we close up shop with the Clippers. I am moving on Jamal Murray props without a doubt. I also like the Clips in this spot. I really do. They just seem so loose and comfortable. Wham is on the Clippers full game. Dutch is on the Clippers first half. Dutch is back in action with us. Dutch, what up?
My bad.
No, it's all good. Just reviewing everybody's action and
Vegas Wi-Fi, man. It's like that.
But you've got the Clippers first half, and you have Lakers full game, and I'll be tweeting everybody.
And Kawhi's going to dominate that game too. I think he's even with the 13 and 14 points he had in that bubble, he still averaged 24 a game in that series. 26 opening night, 26 attempts. That matchup with Jeremy Grant not being there, I just see Kawhi. I mean, obviously it's kind of chalky, but we'll look more when we see the numbers. But I see Kawhi having a big game.
You're right. His shooting was off. It's been a while since I've seen him hit buckets.
Yeah.
10 of 26 from the field, but you're right. This without Jeremy Grant there, it does feel like a Kawhi.
Yeah, it's just simply more off of matchups, boss. Like I don't see who can even contain him.
What a treat it is to cap basketball with these two guys. Follow them both on Twitter at TrotWham, TROTWAM, and at Dutch Boy Fresh. Follow both of them. Have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, you guys. And to everybody watching, have a Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas. And let's keep eating. It's been a great month. It's been a great month. I did just get a red light ticket, but gambling-wise, it's been a great.
They let you go, man. Shit, you win it.
Hey, you ain't trying to cheat. You ain't trying to win, bro. There you go.
Okay. Thank you guys for supporting odds.com and watching. Let's get paid in full. Have a happy holidays. On behalf of Charlie and everybody at odds.com, let's get paid in full.